How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the New York Jets franchise on Madden 20. Today's video will cover games 3 and 4 of the preseason. Again, we'll bounce around and show highlights of both the offense and the defense. And our first team offense has looked very explosive through the preseason thus far, and I'm excited to see what they do against the Dallas Cowboys here. We start with the ball on our own 21. LaMarcus Albert out of the shotgun. Lawrence Cager slot right. Albert, well protected, looks his way, and Cager turns upfield, getting the first down and a lot more. Gain of 26 as our passing offense started out strong. We throw the ball a lot in the preseason just to see what we've got, but also interested in seeing this running game. One of the most interesting position battles on this team is for the power back spot, and here Henry Brazel coughs up the ball, but he was ruled down after a video review, and the Jets drive down the field. First and goal from the 3 in the I formation. Henry Brazel in the game. Play action, Albert with time, fires to the left side. Kadero Hodge is in for the touchdown, and the Jets take an early 7-0 lead. Off to the defense now. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott facing a 3rd and 11. They will set up the screen, but it is well covered by Eric Armstead, and Zeke has to lead the game clutching at that leg. That's one of the reasons we didn't play Willie Sparks in the preseason hardly at all, is to try and keep him fresh and healthy for the regular season. We've already seen some injuries, but fortunately they haven't been too serious. But Zeke is going to miss significant time for the Cowboys, and he wouldn't be the only playmaker they lost in today's game. But Jamison Crowder is out and doing what he does best, catching passes over the middle. But here's a stretch to the left side. Henry Brazel losing the football again. He got blown up by Xavier Woods, and the Cowboys recover. That's former Jet Pierre Desir falling on the football. It was not a good look for Henry Brazel. Cowboys take over with good field position. That is Tony Pollard in the game. And he would try the left side, bounce off one tackle, but Deshaun Elliott comes downhill and meets him in the backfield. And that will set up a long Dallas field goal attempt, 54 yards indoors. But this would actually be a fake. One of the most embarrassing plays of the preseason sees Brendan Jones, who has 56 speed, breaking through our kick coverage there and picking up the first down. Dallas eventually settles for 3 and is back to the first team offense, but that's a bad look for the special teams unit that otherwise was really solid this preseason. Jamison Crowder on the slant route again. LaMarcus Albert went over 100 yards in the first quarter here. He had a lot of good throws, oftentimes with pressure in his face, just like this one downfield, finding Christopher Herndon inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line as the Jets try and increase their lead. 3 wide receiver formation on 3rd and 6. Boston Scott to his left, Albert out of the shotgun. He's got time, fires to the end zone, and that is caught for the touchdown. Jamison Crowder is thriving in the slot, and I'm so excited to see what this pass offense can do during the regular season. We go up 14-3, and our defense continued to force Dallas into 3rd and longs. Here's a 3rd and 13. Prescott plays it conservatively, and it's another 3 and out forced by this defense. The special teams unit already got dinged on that fake field goal that they failed to cover. But how about a punt return highlight? Here's Boston Scott taking it from inside his own end zone. Great blocking, cut to the right side, crosses the 20, 30, spins out a man, jukes out another, still going, and draws a flag on top of that. It is a 56-yard punt return with the penalty yardage included, as the Jets get good field position and ultimately can't do much with it. But here's Brendan McLendon taking snaps at kicker from 56 yards. He splits the uprights with plenty to spare. He has got a leg, and it puts the Jets up by 2 touchdowns. Cowboys trying to score a touchdown against our first team defense. Dak off play action, well protected, fires deep down the middle for Cooper, and that is caught inside the 25. But then Amari Cooper would be shaken up, and he would miss the rest of the game. Dallas adds a field goal, but that's all they're able to do thus far. Just over 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. LaMarcus Albert taking a deep shot for C.D. Lamb, and that is well defended. An arm punt on 3rd and 14 flips the field for the Jets, but nice play there by the cornerback. That was solid coverage the entire length of the field. Dallas takes over. Inside 2.5 minutes to go. More play action for Dak. Rolling to his right, and down he goes. Good coverage downfield leads to a James Delgado sack. As our first team defense continued to play strong, they get the ball back for us to try and run our own 2-minute drill here. LaMarcus Albert well protected. He is going to step up and take off. Everyone covered downfield. He will get the first down and a fresh set of downs for the Jets and hurry back to the line. Eugene Hilbert slot right. Albert over the middle looking his way. That's caught by Hilbert inside the 15. And then it would be Hilbert's turn to be shaken up. That's not good news for the Jets. He missed time last season thanks to a preseason injury. We're hoping he can avoid the same fate this year. As Albert takes a shot to the end zone, puts it right on the hands of his wide receiver, and C.D. Lamb can't haul it in. So it looks like Hilbert is going to miss some time. He's been diagnosed with an abdominal tear. We'll get more of an update after the game. But the Jets head into halftime leading by 2 touchdowns and thoroughly dominating this game. Not for a couple of turnovers, it could be a lot worse. But in the third quarter, this is James Delgado ripping the ball up, but Dak Prescott picks it up, racing down the field, and he's finally caught by Deshaun Elliott. One of these stranger third down conversions you'll see. But Dallas continues marching down the field here. Here they face a 3rd and 5. Prescott out of the shotgun. He's back to pass, rolls to his right, steps up in the pocket, and down he goes. Eric Armstead getting through for the sack. Dallas has to settle for 3 again. Then Harry Arrieta got some snaps with the first team offense here in the third quarter. I wanted to see what he could do. He had a couple of bad throws like this one, but all in all, this was a much better game for Arrieta. Prescott, on the other hand, was under pressure through most of today's game. Here he is off play action. And he is chased, flings it downfield in the double coverage, and that is knocked away. Hassan Austin and Deshaun Elliott in coverage there. And that will lead to a 3rd and 11. 4-man rush. Prescott with time. Now it runs out, and Quinnen Williams gets there. Our defensive line put on a show against the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. It's not as good as it used to be, but still nothing to sneeze at, and we got to Prescott several times. Arrieta with a nice throw as we're almost to the end of the third quarter here. He finds C.D. Lamb over the middle. But sacks started to become an issue here. Here's a 2nd and 23. Arrieta rolling, firing downfield, and there's a nice catch made by Kurt Pitts. Stepping up for Hilbert, and the offense will go hurry up here to try and get one more play off before the end of the third quarter here, when the starters will leave, as Lawrence Cager with a nice catch on the sideline will save time for one more play. 1st and goal from the 8. Arrieta back to pass with all day to throw. Fires to the end zone. There's Serious Butte for the touchdown. Jets go up 27-9 as we head on to the fourth quarter. Backups in the rest of the way. This is Brendan Jones at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in his 3rd year out of UNLV with a floater to Ricky Blackwell, who accelerates away and picks up the first down and a lot more. Jones came in and started throwing all over the field, and he drove the Cowboys down. Here's 2nd and goal from the 5 against a 4-man rush all day for Brendan Jones. Stepping up in the pocket and is able to pick apart the zone coverage for the touchdown there. As once again, the backup pass rushers failed to make their mark on the game. Arrieta still in the game with the 2nd team offense off of play action. Pressure incoming, firing over the middle for Kurt Pitts, who's open near midfield. We know Kurt Pitts can play, but what about some of the other wide receivers trying to crack the roster? Here is Javier Phelps shaking a couple of defenders. Not sure how he got free, but he races inside the 5 down to the 4. Nice run after catch ability there by number 84. That leads to a 1st and goal. Josiah Doolittle gets the call. The undrafted rookie behind a great block from Keontae Preston is in for the touchdown as the Jets increase their lead 34-16. Inside 5 minutes to go, Brendan Jones on a 3-step drop is nearly picked off. Blake Cashman in position to make another play, and that would lead to a 4th and 2. Cowboys need this one as a well-protected Brendan Jones fires short for his tight end and picks up the 1st down. And they'll go hurry up as we're inside 2 minutes here. This one all but over, but we're curious if they can find the end zone. Here's a nice shot taken, but Renee Dillon knocks it away, and that will lead to his 2nd down. Bunch formation on the right side, 4-man rush over the middle, and Blake Cashman is there again to break it up. He got a lot of playing time with the backups just by virtue of his place on the depth chart, but he made the most of those opportunities. On 3rd and 10, Jets bring a blitz, but it's picked up, and with all day to throw, Jones will complete the 1st down to his running back, and they'll go hurry up again, trying to punch it in from the 4. 1st and goal, Jones. Well protected again up the seam, and that will be a Dallas Cowboys touchdown. The backup pass defense not really holding up against Brendan Jones here, but there's only a minute to go in the 4th quarter. But we weren't done yet. I wanted to see what Harry Arrieta could do. Here's a 3rd and 23 with all day to throw, firing deep down the field. Sean Forbes, brought over in the Mass Johnson trade, picks up the 1st down there. We have just a couple of highlights left in this one. Actually, this is the last one. It's a nice play, although it ultimately doesn't count. Arrieta with Lawrence Cager's slot right against the blitz. It's picked up, fires down the field for Kurt Pitts, who makes the catch inside the 5. Unfortunately, there would be a holding penalty that essentially ended this game as the Jets finish off a 34-23 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. We beat them in just about every single area of the game. The only bad news were the turnovers and the injury to Eugene Hilbert, which will keep him out for the first 2 weeks of the regular season, as that will set up an interesting position battle going into the final game of the preseason. As I think our wide receiver core had been set with 5. We're going to see Jamison Crowder, CeeDee Lamb, Kadero Hodge, Eugene Hilbert, and Kurt Pitts, probably in that order. But the injury to Hilbert means that there's now potentially an opening on the 53-man roster if someone can really impress at wide receiver in this final game. They'll get 3 quarters with which to show their stuff, and I tried to be fair as to who was playing in which positions and how often they were getting snaps. There were 5 different wide receivers I wanted to take a look at here. Sean Holloway, Harvey Addison, Javier Phelps, who you saw earlier, Sean Forbes, who you also saw earlier, and Jamison Cromartie, who is a rookie trying to make the team. I also wanted to take a look at our backups on the defensive line. Marlon Davidson, Randy Hope, and Rakeem Winston, along with Jordan Willis, haven't really been making waves on that side of the ball. So I was hoping that perhaps a larger sample size could help us evaluate where they're at in their careers and how they can help this team make the playoffs again this season. As our 4th preseason game is against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a great test for both our first team offense and defense, as here's Blake Cashman making a stop on 3rd down, stopping Sammy Watkins inches short of the 1st down marker as we get the ball to our first team offense deep in our own territory. This was the game where I wanted to see what our running backs could do with the first team offense. Henry Brazel had a couple of fumbles last game, and here he's swarmed by Stephon Bledsoe and taken down at the line of scrimmage. 3 straight runs go nowhere for the Jets as they quickly turn it back over to Mahomes. But our first team defense also had some decent showings in run defense. There's James Delgado getting through unblocked. Once again, our starting defensive line really showed up. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Mahomes stepping up in the pocket, and down he goes. James Delgado and Eric Armstead both getting there for the sack as we force Kansas City into a 3rd and long. Here's Mahomes out of the shotgun, setting up the screen. Quinion Williams is there, but he can't catch up to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who scampers in for the touchdown. Excellent execution on that screen as the ball comes back to the New York offense, down 7-0, just over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Albert off of play action fires to the right sideline. There's a great adjustment by Sirius Butte to pick up the 1st down. I'm excited for him, and I want to get him on the field as much as possible, so expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets as Reggie Bishop can't pick up much there. 3 carries, just 4 yards to start the day for Bishop, and that will lead to a 3rd and long. Blitz is picked up. Albert to the left sideline, and CD Lamb with a great catch at the 12. Clock continuing to run. Jets will get one more play here in the first quarter. With 3 wide receivers in the formation, Albert over the middle, Jamison Crowder catching that inside the 10 at the 3. And that will give way to the second team offense here. 3rd and 1, ball at the 3, Arrieta under center. Cromartie left, Phelps right. Jump ball, and it's hauled in by Jamison Cromartie, the rookie, as he makes a nice play on a 50-50 ball to haul in the game-tying touchdown. There was another major development in today's game. We're in the second quarter, so backups are in, but sometimes the formation subs didn't switch around, as Marion Mariev and Levi Wallace are in on this play, and Wallace goes down and leaves the game with an injury, and we get an immediate update. It's a dislocated elbow. He's going to miss some significant time. So now the microscope shifts not only on the defensive line, but also to the defensive backs. Levi Wallace is one of our starting cornerbacks, and I wanted to see if anyone was able to step up for him if he's not able to go in week 1. Xavier McKinney, Quincy Wilson, and rookie cornerback Renee Dillon are all candidates to replace him, but I doubt any of them will be able to bring the same level of play that we've come to expect from Levi Wallace. As backup quarterback Tyrone Bushrod, a left-handed quarterback in his 2nd year, moved the Chiefs well down the field, but there's a nice play. Rakeem Winston making the stop there as the Chiefs are trying to find the end zone here. 3rd and goal from the 2. 2 wide receivers right. Bushrod to the left side, and he'll have his tight end in front of Renee Dillon and Trey Groves for the touchdown. Groves, the closest one there, did not get a good jam off the line of scrimmage, and Kansas City goes up by a touchdown. I mentioned the position battle for our power back, halfback, and that was hard to discern based off of today's game. We didn't have any luck running the football, starters or backups. Neither offensive line could really get any push, and Kansas City played tight defense for this game. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for us. There's Michael Walker missing a tackle for a big gain for the Chiefs as they move the ball pretty much at will. Bushrod against the blitz, up the seam. There's another nice throw in front of Stephen Donnelly as the Chiefs would add 3. Inside 2 minutes here, Harry Arrieta in the game. Rolling to his right, he is sacked. Just a 4-man rush gets instant pressure. That drops Arrieta for a loss of 14. The Chiefs had good pass rush combined with really sticky coverage. But Sirius Butte continued to shine. There's a nice catch over the middle there as we try to get the most out of our 2-minute drill. Play action. Again under pressure, Arrieta firing to the left side. There's Jamison Cromartie at midfield. Offense goes hurry up. We're down a couple scores. This is the perfect chance for some young wide receivers to distinguish themselves. As Arrieta takes a shot for Sirius Butte into coverage, and that is knocked away. The big tight end unable to make that catch, and it's 2nd and 10. Very next play. Blitz is picked up. Kahale warring down the middle. The tight end 3 with the catch, and that will make it 1st and 10 inside the 20. Jets saving their last time out Arrieta to the end zone for Waring, and that is dropped with 8 seconds to go. There's a lot of tight coverage by the Kansas City defense here. Starters and backups both played well. As here's Arrieta against a 3-man rush. Still gets there around the right side. And the Jets spend their final timeout and bring out Brendan McLendon for a 47-yard field goal. Arrieta on the hold. He's doing everything today, and that will split the uprights, sending us to halftime. Chiefs on top 17-10 and firmly in control of this game. We did not move the ball very well in the first half. We had less than 100 total yards, and our normally excellent running game was pretty much shut down. Here's a 3rd and 4, one of those stranger plays of the afternoon, as that one is caught by Jamison Cromartie. It goes off the helmet of right tackle Freddie Calvin and bounces right to Jamison Cromartie. Don't count on that converting a lot of first downs, but we'll take it. Here's a 3rd and 7. 3 wide receivers to the right. Arrieta rolling way back and firing that run to no one in particular. Just 6 of 12 for 88 yards thus far, and it leads to a Braden Mann punt. He's a Pro Bowler for 2 seasons, and Mann gets this one away into the wind. This is going to bounce inside the 10 and takes a very New York bounce, rolling down to the 1. It sure looks to me like that crossed the plane of the end zone. But I guess we can give the officials the benefit of the doubt here. It's preseason for them too. As we get a very generous spot there. 1st and 10 from the 1. Jets are going to bring the house. Run defense has been hit or miss, but this time it's going to result in a safety for the New York Jets. Randy Hope getting decent penetration there. Stephen Donnelly setting the edge, and Trey Groves getting the stop there, as it's 2 points on the board and the ball for the New York Jets. Good field position. Here's one of the better runs on the day. Henry Brazel showing good agility for someone his size, getting outside and picking up the first down. But we continued to go back to the air, and there wasn't a lot of separation for our backup wide receivers. There's a throw targeting Javier Phelps, which is intercepted by Bryce Hall. Kansas City would get the ball back. I don't think any of the interceptions this preseason were off of bad throws. It was mostly bad reads on my part. You've seen a few of those here today, as Stephen Donnelly nearly takes that one to the house. You got to remember to run after you've caught the ball and not before, as that was the closest we came to shutting down Tyrone Bushrod. Like here, he had all day to throw and was able to float that one over the linebackers there for the first down. He was on target and dialed in on the majority of his throws. Here's a 1st and 10, trying the left side on the ground. Here's a huge hole, and again, Donnelly needs to save the touchdown. Thompson having a huge day on the ground and through the air. And Kansas City would drive inside the 10. Here's 2nd and goal. Thompson up the middle. He's stopped by Keith Geathers, the rookie middle linebacker, trying to make the roster. And on 3rd and goal, they bring out the jumbo set. 3 tight ends and the fullback. Thompson in the backfield. Blitz is brought, and Geathers meets him in the backfield again for the stop at the 4. That's his 2nd tackle for a loss. Keith Geathers showed up in the run game, as that would bring out the field goal unit for Kansas City, and it is a fake, and they will score. Again, the special teams unit getting burned on a fake field goal in the preseason. Madden will actually tell you that they're running a fake field goal, but I usually call one of the blocks just to see how the players react, and this time it led to a Kansas City touchdown. So time to play from behind, as we have been all game. Here's a nice run for Reggie Bishop, as he had 7 carries for just 24 yards here, but definitely got stronger as the game went on. We're mostly forced to rely on our passing offense. Here's Harry Arrieta over the middle, and a great adjustment by Cromartie for the catch. He stood out in the game against the Chiefs after not getting a whole lot of playing time in the first 3 games. But bad offensive line play would ultimately doom this drive. There's a nice throw to Javier Phelps, which is ultimately called back due to a holding penalty. And then a little bit later, with just a couple seconds left in the third quarter, Arrieta against a 4-man rush. There's Chris Lyon giving up the pressure and the sack that will lead to a long field goal attempt for Brendan McLendon. This is 57 yards, wind at his back. Left hash, hold, and kick are both good. He splits the uprights and gets the Jets within 9 here. Still a 2-possession game, as I'm sure New York would have liked to have put that one in the end zone. But it's back to the defense here. Bushrod with all day to throw. But everyone is covered, and down goes Bushrod. Gilbert McGraw eventually gets there, the rookie late-round pick, trying to make the roster, as he gets his first sack of the preseason. On 2nd and 22, Thompson with a nice hole, breaking tackles, gets all of that yardage back and then some. Dorian Thompson played really well. We'll jump back to the offense here. Kansas City added a field goal, and with good coverage downfield, their blitz gets home. Brown getting through to sack Arrieta, and that's a 2nd and 23. Cromartie in the slot this time, but the pass goes to Harvey Addison in his 3rd season as a wide receiver, as we'll go hurry up to try and convert this 3rd down and save as much time as possible in a 2-possession game. Jets need this conversion. They can't settle for another field goal, as Boston Scott makes the catch for the gain of 10. Arrieta really struggled with interior pressure. It seemed to bother him a lot more than stuff off the edge, as this throw to a wide open Sirius Butte is not in the right zip code and would lead to a long 3rd and 10 from the 17. Just a 3-man rush. Arrieta buying time, fires to McFarland, who can't haul that one in. That would have been a 1st down inside the 5. Instead, it is 4th and 10. Jets keeping the offense on the field. A field goal does them no good here, as again over the middle, that pass is dropped by Harvey Addison. He was open and uncontested, and that leads to a turnover on downs. Jets ultimately get the ball back with less than a minute and a half to go. 4th and 10 converted to Addison, but this one is coming back. There's another hold, as I'd say penalties and poor offensive line play doomed us in this one. Here's a 4th and 16, very next play, and the pressure will get there. Both teams giving up safeties in this game, as that will end our preseason a 29-15 score. I don't think that's ever been done, as we finish our preseason 2-2 with an ugly loss at Kansas City. Only 1 turnover, but plenty of mistakes that kept us from moving the ball well down the field. A lot of sacks given up, and a lot of penalties when we did have good plays. It's nice to see Elijah Cook get an upgrade. His pass protection still needs some work, but he's a definite upgrade over Freddie Calvin at the left tackle position. Here's the stats from the preseason. Don't look at the interception numbers too much. We just threw the ball a lot, and I took a lot of shots I normally wouldn't, just trying to see what our receivers could do in terms of making plays. Our running game was mostly quiet. Reggie Bishop had the best average yards per attempt, as none of the backup running backs really distinguished themselves. Sirius Butte had an excellent preseason. I threw the ball his way a lot. Eugene Hilbert had a really nice preseason despite missing a game and a half, but I don't feel like any of the other young wide receivers, with the exception of Kurt Pitts, really distinguished themselves, and that made it hard to make cuts for the final roster. Backup offensive line was kind of a mess. Freddie Calvin struggled even after being moved over to right tackle. Chandler Hebert gave up a bunch of sacks, so that's not a great look for the backups, but I think we have a solid starting offensive line. On defense, Blake Cashman was all over the field, led the team in tackles by a wide margin, had 2 interceptions, couple of passes defensed. It was a good preseason for Blake Cashman, and I'm excited to see what he can do over the regular season. He's going to get a bunch of snaps. Stephen Donnelly also had a really solid preseason. He was all over the field whenever the backups were playing and made some plays as a starter as well, so I was pleased to see that. Keith Geathers, the rookie middle linebacker, had a good preseason as well. He had a lot of playing time with the backups, but made the most of that opportunity and made a strong case for making the roster. Randy Hope didn't quite have the impact I had, hoped from him. He's still young and will be able to learn behind Linval Joseph in the defensive tackle role. I think Rakeem Winston can also contribute as a situational pass rusher. He was the backup defensive lineman I was noticing make the most consistent plays. I think we have really good safety depth this year as well, after that was a weak point for us last year. Stephen Donnelly had a monster preseason, as I said, and Gerard Thornton played well enough to make the roster. We had an under-the-radar kicking competition between Brendan McLendon and Brandon McManus. A McKicking competition, if you will. I will show myself out. But in all seriousness, there were a lot of tough decisions to make. We had to cut 21 players to get down to our opening 53, and there were some difficult decisions to make. Backup wide receiver was one of them. Harvey Addison gets released. I wasn't too impressed with him even after a couple years. But we assigned Jamison Phelps to the practice squad. I like what I saw from him. Sean Forbes also gets another look next season with a practice squad invite. And Jamison Cromartie, the Game 4 standout, will also get a practice squad invite. Kahale Waring, I wanted to keep him as a tight end, but ultimately decided to give him his walking papers. I figured we could sign him if we need another tight end, but right now we're going to roll with the 3 that we have. John Bostic is a veteran name who you probably didn't hear a lot of this preseason. He gets released to free up some cap room, as well as Geathers gets the roster spot there as our 4th middle linebacker. I do go in and I change Gerard Thornton over to free safety. He'll get snaps this year behind Deshaun Elliott. And then with the kicking competition here, the established veteran or the chunky rookie, I decide to end up releasing Brandon McManus. It's a bit of a cap hit, but it does save us $2.25 million if we need to make a trade. And there are a couple more moves to be made here. I wanted to try and move on from Freddie Calvin. He was a left tackle for us last year, had a really tough season, ended up losing the starting left tackle job, which has since been taken over by Elijah Cook, and he really struggled in the preseason. Gave up 3 sacks in just 2 games here, as he was pretty quickly passed over for other options. So I decided that a change of scenery was a good thing for him. He's lining up at right tackle, and the Washington football team need a starting right tackle. So we put together a trade offer, Calvin for a 3rd round pick in the upcoming draft. May have been a little bit of a steal there, but Calvin has played good football for us before, and he'll get the opportunity to start there in DC. I also forgot to release Edward Arnold, which frees up a roster spot here. We only need 2 quarterbacks right now. If we need to sign another one, we can do that then. But I wanted to address backup pass rusher. And the football team had Jay Walters, the 25-year-old defensive tackle, on their practice squad. He's got good finesse moves for an interior lineman, so we signed him, and that will complete our roster heading into Season 4. Here's a quick look at the depth chart right now. No surprises on offense here. We do keep 2 fullbacks. I didn't think Keontae Preston would survive on our practice squad, and I think he can contribute as a blocker. On the defensive side of things, we're going to see most of the same starters from last year, so again, no surprises there. I have high hopes for the unit that ranked number 1 in scoring last season to be even better this year. I think this is our deepest team since we started this series, and I can't wait to see how we stack up against the rest of the NFL in Season 4. Here's a look at our schedule. We take on the AFC North and the NFC North this season, and we're going to be seeing a lot of rookie quarterbacks this year. Sirius Butte will take on his brother Teehee twice a year, and you're going to want to mark your calendars for Week 17 against the Indianapolis Colts. I think that'll be the best game on this schedule. But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. Week 1 is against the Detroit Lions, and they've got some interesting young talent on this season. They've had a tough couple of years here, but have hit gold with their 1st round picks. Gilbert Jordan was last year's NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, and they selected 22-year-old Mac Leggett in the draft, who has a very good chance at being the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a strong cover linebacker who will fit right into their 3-4 scheme that they're rolling out here in Detroit. But they won't be 100% healthy. Their prize free agent signing, Chandler Jones, will miss the first couple of weeks with broken ribs, and I, for one, am happy that we don't have to face him. But they're not the only defense missing a key player. Levi Wallace is going to miss the first 6 weeks of this season with a dislocated elbow he suffered late in the loss against the Chiefs. We'll see Quincy Wilson, Xavier McKinney, and Renee Dillon try and fill the veteran cornerback shoes here in weeks 1 through 6. We'll only have 4 wide receivers ready to go in week 1 with the injury to Eugene Hilbert. So it'll probably be more of a run-heavy game for our offense, and we'll open up the playbook as the season winds on. But with that being said, I think this team is a dark horse Super Bowl contender. You don't go one and done one season and get penciled into the Super Bowl the next season, but our offense can move the ball on the ground and through the air. We have an excellent defense that is returning most of its starters from last year, and we have a 320-pound kicker. What's not to like? Have a good one, everybody. I will catch you next time with Week 1.